Hangouts is going away August 1st. There you go. And additionally, last time I did the Hangouts, I had a bad time, didn't I? I had some problems, even with my super cool high-speed internet connection. Let's see if we have sound, then we'll continue. Of course, I have to tolerate an advertisement, don't I? Let's try to bypass the advertisement. Let's see if we have sound. See? Perfect. Welcome, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Satellites.pro, we're at the top end of Timbuktu. Have you ever realized where Timbuktu was? Well, okay, now it's going to slow down. I had it all set up. I'm just going to show you a few things. I found this ancient intersection. Now, there's a lake bed nearby, so what does that tell me? It tells me that these are probably not canals. Not a big reason to put a canal or a lake bed. If it's full of water, you don't need a canal. Cesayon, how do you say your name? You never told me. Is that even a real name? I have to look it up. Okay, but here we go. Look here. This is the same spot. Cesarion. As you can see, the cross that's here is barely visible, but it is visible. It's light blue, so 955. The dark blue is darker. It's like maybe even 863 or 896. How do I sound? Does it sound okay? It's the most important part is the recording. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I guess I'm going to zoom in so it turns back to the old color. Okay, there you go. And so again, where is the cross? The cross, I got lost again. Wow, it's right there. It's right about here. And there's a piece right here that goes through. So there's the cross. There's the intersection. Let me show you in the map. Oops. Oh, I closed it. Okay, let me just use my history to reopen that. Let's try that again. Not having good luck with the technology today. Let's try this again. You can see the coordinates right there. 27 degrees. Okay, look at that. It's beautiful. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so you see it in here, it almost looks like it's a canal. But it's not really a canal. Let's go and look at the new satellites.pro. That satellites.pro is beautiful. And as you can see, it shows like a sunset view of this. I don't know how they make it so much more beautiful. But what you can see is you have an ancient floor bed with these lines. And there's let's go in there and take a good look, because here it's really beautiful. And I thought, oh, those are canals. Well, what I really want to show you, it's in a lake bed. So you think, okay, maybe it's just going across the lake bed. Well, if you back out, you can see under these dunes, and I'm just going to move them over to here, you can see that the lines actually go underneath the dunes. So these man-made lines, which I presume had to do with damming and controlling water, probably in the very end, right before Sahara Desert turned into the desert that it is now. So how old are these lines? 5,000 years old? Well, look at this dune that's on top of it. It's sand that's been, well, it seems like it drained across and got stuck. And of course, the top of the dune is very, very textured. Let's move over to this. Did I? Oh, I opened it over there. If you look at the topograph, or should I say topography, you can see that these tops of these dunes, and here it is right there. So there's the dune that we were just looking at right there. And you can see that the very top is up to 1,200 feet high. So from 800 feet down below to 1,200 feet, that's 1,000 feet of basically pure sand. You can see these lines going across. It's going to change color a little bit, but that line going there, it's about 912 feet going across, but the blue below it's about 840, and still the dunes go 1,000 to 1,220 feet. Going back to this map, you can look at it. So the very top of this is 1,200 feet, and down here is under 1,000 feet. So this is 1,000 feet of sand going over these ancient lines. Let's back out and take a look at some places where the lines go. It goes up into the mountains, Atlas Mountains. So this was Poseidon's stomping ground. And well, that's the question, isn't it? And I think with what does sand do? Sand abrases, sand grinds down. This moving sand scraped the flood basin and probably removed all forms of ancient civilization. But that being said, when you go to these other places, and I've been looking for this other guy, not him, let me close that. This other guy over here, oh, he has some videos. Let me show you the videos, because these two videos are pretty interesting. Not that. Where did I put it? Here it is. African ruins, flower of life, and lines underwater. Now, I tried to play some of this before, and it gave me trouble, so I'm not going to do that. What I'd like to do is make it larger. These ancient civilizations are seen all over Africa and the Sahara Desert. Some of these are modern-day mining activities, that is. But when you get to stuff like this, these creases in the Sahara Desert, they're not older than the Sahara Desert. They're not 5,000 years old, but they are ancient civilizations that once existed. Back when the water was leaving. Okay, let's close that. Didn't want to see that again. I guess I closed the other one. Too bad. So go to his channel. He's got two videos, 18 nostalgic. And you can just copy this right here. It's pretty interesting. He's got two videos. So he's got 87 views now. You can subscribe. This one was just published. And I thought it was quite interesting. I won't play it, but what I did do was, by following one of his ancient dams across the Sahara Desert, I found these lines that literally go across ancient lake beds, which are covered by thousands and thousands of feet of sand. And when you back away, and maybe Google Maps is still the best way to see these ridges going underneath the sand. How old are these ridges? And here's the other one going this direction. And what are these ridges doing? Well, I assume they're grabbing water, and they're collecting water that's coming off this mountain. And when you back away, you can see how big the mountain is. This is the Atlas Major, from my understanding. Well, Cicerone, Aurelius, it looks like you're my only viewer tonight. I'm just going to back out and show everybody where we are. And as you can see, this is the top of Mali. Mali is one of the countries that still has legalized slavery. I don't know anything about wanting to go there soon. You can see these striations of sand coming from the ancient Lake Maghreb lake bed. It's right over here on the right. I believe this is where a lot of the flooding started from. This is where the major water broke and came through here. You don't see these flood striations above that area. And in addition to that, so all the flood striations start right here. I mean, maybe you can see a little bit here, but it's just regular sand at this point. Maybe here there's a little water coming through. Maybe the water went that way and that way, but this is very high. You can check the topography. Mali, go buy stuff. I don't live there. And I don't believe in slavery. I don't like sex slavery. I don't like labor slavery. That's why when people ask me about the scene here in Taiwan, I pretty much keep my mouth shut, because I don't know much about it. And even if I did, I wouldn't want to promote it. This isn't Thailand. This is Taiwan. So this is the ancient Lake Maghreb bed right here. And then you've got these striations leading across Mali right towards the eye of the Sahara. And when you come here, you can see very clearly where the striations stop and where they start. Look at this road here. This must be a mountain right here, because the striations don't come up the mountain. They go past the mountain. So here we have the ancient, I believe, ancient river of Senegal going through that way, coming down here. I believe a river used to go straight up from the Senegal River to the eye. You can see many ancient maps that show this. But what you also see is these striations of sand coming across, signifying some type of ancient flooding activity. I heard Randall Carlson say that on one of Joe Rogan's podcasts that the sand ripples look like the bottom of a sea, of an aquarium, not like proper sand dunes. Well, I don't want to get into it, but I understand what your point is. I was doing a research paper on slavery on southern plantations, and there was a lot of the docents were not really talking about the slavery part. Anyways, moving on to another topic, I do have a group that you can join called End Slavery Now, because there are more slaves in existence today than there ever have been on the face of the earth. So when somebody tells you because slavery, you need to remind them because still slavery. See, you're assuming it was a tsunami. I don't think a tsunami can travel up a 2,000-foot mountain 300 miles away from the ocean. If it were a tsunami, I think, represents a tidal wave coming from the ocean. I believe that there was a bigger event, possibly a comet or asteroid that hit. Okay, there's several theories. There's even at the Tenamore crater right here, right above the eye. There's the Tenamore crater. So when did that crater strike? Maybe 13,000 years ago. Look up on Google and find out how old the Tenamore crater is. I think it's 20,000 years old. Maybe there was a strike 20,000 years ago that caused Atlantis to start to decline. But I believe that it was something that happened 13,000 years ago that caused Plato to tell his story. Because I believe that the Egyptians were good historians. They kept a good historical book. These striations of sand go across here. I think that some of those happened after 13,000 years. When you zoom in here, you can see where the striations go past the mountain. They don't go up this mountain. They go right past. So where did that sand come from? Did it just appear there? No, it came from over this mountain. You can see the sand moving across this mountain here onto the other side. This mountain range, the Adrar Mountains, stops the connection between water and this possible canal system from going over the mountain. But you do see ancient canal systems that may have led to the other side of the mountain. You can see one here that's 20 kilometers long. And you can see another one here that's 20 kilometers long. So the question I have for you is, when were these waterways full of water, and how did they get over the mountain? This over here is the Tamanrasset River, part of it, that went across the north side of the eye. And over here, this is 2,000 feet high. So how did the water get up here? Such a straight line, probably made to access this other side of this mountain, get on the other side, possibly right through here, just right over here. I don't know. You can see it go up there, but get right over here, and then you can meet up with this river that goes to Chinguetti and to the eye of the Sahara. Was there an ancient river here? I think it's pretty clear there was. Well, I do have a commentary video on there. By the way, I also have mentioned that this river that comes down through these mountains here almost connects with this river. So this is the very highest point in the mountain. And there may have been, look at that. What is that circle there? Was it an ancient crater, or was it some type of a pool that existed? Perhaps. Well, now you see a road going right between where the river meets here and the river meets here. Perhaps there was an ancient canal that connected the two and allowed for people to get on both sides. Where did the water come from? That's a different story. probably from the south side going to the north, because I think that this is a lot lower over here. This is like 900 feet right there. And then these cliffs get up to about 2,000 feet. And of course, if you know anything about canals, then you know that there are no canals that are that high. The highest canals are in Germany, and they're about 1,200 feet. So if there were canals this high, there would need some type of a lock system. Okay, what was I showing you? The main reason I got on here was I was showing you these ancient dams that were up in Timbuktu. Now look here, you can see another lake bed with some type of a dam that's going across. It's not really a lake bed, it's a river, the ancient Tamanrasset River. There's other dams here and down here that are modern day and in use. Right here you can see one. So these dams collecting water are there now. But the question I have is, why would they need dams over 5,000 years if there's no water in the middle of the desert? The answer is, of course, those dams were there much, much earlier, probably while there was still an ancient river system going through here. So going back up to where we started, right up here, you can see the border for Mali. So this is Mauritania. This little hook here is Mauritania. Mauritania has these striations, this mountain. But right down here, as I zoom in, you can see that little white lake bed. It looks like a fish. You can zoom right in here below it, these striations, and you can see those lines going through. It goes right through here. I'm going to look at the other map real quick because I thought these lines were so much more beautiful. And here they are, the same place. You can see the intersection of this line and this line intersecting right here. However, you've got 1,000-foot high striations of sand moving across this ancient flood basin. What does it take to move that much sand? Just wind? This doesn't look like wind. It looks like it's water ripples to me. But it's been dry for 5,000 years, so who knows where the so-called tsunami or water flood came from. We do know that there's a flood myth. Thank you for your question, Epic Swag Gamer 13. Thank you for visiting my channel and your possible subscription to my channel, and thank you for any thumbs up you give me. So this is using the satellites.pro. You can see these numbers here. I don't even know what that E stands for, but it's number sign # E24.246582, comma -5.359290, comma 13. I don't understand any of that. You can see these ancient lines going across, probably to redirect water, to grab water coming from the mountain and redirect it to a certain place for some reason, maybe mining. You can see this one. This one goes underneath. Oh, there's another cross point. That's very interesting, right? Another one, an intersection. And if you go across, you can see, well, here you don't see it. Where did the line go? It doesn't pop out the other side. Here's an ancient line that way. Maybe I could go the other way. Maybe I should zoom out a little bit. That's interesting that you don't see that. But you can see the line very clearly here and here. Not sure where they're going. That one didn't go very far, did it? But you can see more of these lines up here. Let's look here. So now that they're above the mountain foothills, you can see less of the sand covering them and more of the ancient lines. Look at that ancient intersection of some sort. Was it a road? Was it a wall? It's definitely higher. This one is different. We can kind of zoom out. We can look at the topography again and see how. So we have to first find out where we are. So I'm going to use that dot as a. The topography is really kind of unclear. Is that the dot? So how are we going to do that? Here, this is how I'll do it right there. I'll put this in the corner, and then I'll go back and I'll put this one in the corner too. Does it show it? It's not going to show it. Oh yeah, it does show it. Okay, let me do it. Put that in the corner there. So that, how do we get closer? Let me just back out the other side. It's kind of tough. The topography is kind of tough. See, there it is right there. So it's not so far away. I think that we can kind of see that this dot right there is the dot I'm looking for. No, that's it there. That's the dot coming straight from the, let me try one more time. Let me look over here. So again, here's the intersection right here. I can barely see it here. Well, there it is. There's one. Is that it? I got lost. That's something else. No, he didn't say it's above the Strait of Gibraltar. He said that it's beyond the Pillars of Hercules. I do read that every once in a while. I go back to it. I have both Cretaceous and the other one, Timaeus. I have them waiting, and I do go through there. I do see some mention of 7 islands, but I don't see mention of above the Strait of Gibraltar. And the rectangular mountain range, which is Spain, I believe some of those islands could have sunk. Okay, let me finish what I was doing here. So again, we're here. Where's that crisscross? I thought it was right about there, but now I'm lost. So I'm going to find it here, and then I want to find it over here in the topography. Topography, let's get that out of there. I don't want to see that again. So here's the Satellites Pro. Let me zoom in and find that. I just want to find that again. All right, there it is. Got a bunch of lines right there. I think I need to zoom out a little bit. I lost it. Where are those lines? Oh, there they are, right there. Okay, so let me just go ahead and share this onto my Ancient Insights Facebook page. I have it here. I can share it there. That way you can look at it for yourself. And that way I won't lose it, because this is something I want to kind of compare later. It takes a long time when I'm live streaming. Okay, so Epic Swag Gamer 13, I suggest you watch the Chris Tolworthy video. Check out my playlist. I put it in there. He talks about how Atlantis could have been a continent that was... Okay, so I'm sharing it to Ancient Insight. It's a Facebook page. It's got the yellow sunset. He mentions how the ancient Tamanrasset River separated Libya continent from Atlantis continent. He makes it really clear how they considered this to be a continent. Okay, so now I just need to find the spot right here. Can I get that little lake bed? See, it's very difficult for me to align this. I could also probably grab this, but I doubt it's going to work. Copy this here and put it right in here. You think it'll work? See, there's no search. Where's the search? Maybe if I use the topography right here. This one right here, maybe. The imagery. Okay, that helps, doesn't it? There's the little circle. There's this. This looks like a little laughing face. And then if we look here, it's the same laughing face, right? It looks like a puma. Okay, so now we've got that there, and we've got this here. So we've got our cross right in the middle of the screen. So it's right there. You can see it. And it is, let's zoom in a little bit to see it. You can see here that it is officially not very high. It doesn't really show off that much. Not very good. But if we look here, we can see that the green is high. The light blue is lower than the green. All right, well, maybe it is a canal right here. Here we've got another one here. Let's look at that one. That one shows the light green. That's here, 1,000 feet. And then down below is the blue. Those are little those are little walls. Okay, 7 islands of Pleiades. Those 7 islands, in my opinion, probably were either the Canary Islands complex or the Cape Verde Island complex. And the Cape Verde Island is right where it enters into the Taman Reset. So I think that you go beyond the Pillars of Hercules. You kind of travel, check out that Chris Tolworthy video, somewhat south a little bit, but along the coastline. And with the pillars of, no, sorry, not pillars, but the mud that they described, do you really think there would be mud in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean or by Spain? I think that the mud's going to be up against the coastline at the entrance of the Taman Reset. All that mud came down. It could have even created the island of Cape Verde Island. And maybe a couple of the islands did disappear in the whole mess. Graham Hancock says we should check out the continental shelves. All right. So again, this isn't very clear as far as topography goes. It's kind of like a spray paint, so it's not very sharp, but we see that the 1,000-foot line goes right through there, and then below that is the blue. So there's no green. Any green is higher, and it's sand. It's sand striations. There's a sand striation going right over that. The sand was there later. There's not much sand over here. In fact, we can grab this and we can move it out of the way. We can find another crosshair. Let's find this one right here. What about that one? This one, you can see it. What I did was I turned on the S3 map so you can see the imagery. But here, this is definitely, let me turn that off and go straight to the topographical only. You don't see it though, do you? Too bad. It's not very clear. It's too bad. What's going on here? Do we have more comments? Okay. That's about it for now. I just didn't want to pass the opportunity. Look at the way these dams go right up against the mountains. These man-made lines. You can see them in the topography if you back away. Here's more, the ones that I started with. Those are very clear in the topography. And there's the first one right there. Where did they go? What were they doing down there? They were collecting water. You can see a bunch more down below in these striations of sand. That's a lake bed. When it's white like that, well, that says 1,100 feet. The blue is lower, so this must be sand. I don't understand why it looked like that. Let me look at that again. Oh, as we back away, we can see it less clearly, so that doesn't help. Let me just move in there. Maybe I mistook it for a lake bed. I say that because it's the lowest point, and it's usually the color white where the alkaloids build up. Okay, backing away, we can again see the ancient Maghreb lake. Oh, you're focused on Spain. I'm not near Spain. Spain's way up there. Let me show you here. The ancient Taman Reset River goes right along the edge of this high mountain here of the Eye of the Sahara. It's like 1,000. It's like 2,500 feet. Here it shows like 2,700 feet. It was really high. That's why crossing it would be really difficult in a canal. However, right on the other north side of it, you see this yellow. That was only 500 feet high. Maybe it shows yellow and green. Yellow and then green is 300 feet. This is going to the Atlantic Ocean. There's the mud I'm talking about. These little islands are made of mud. There used to be a big mud bank here. Take a look at ancient maps that I've already shown you. I believe that if Atlantis concentric circles were here, and I won't bet my life on anything, you can see the river that went straight down to the Senegal. Maybe this was on the wrong side of the mountain. Maybe sand built that up and blocked off canals. You could have still passed through here. This is only 1,140. Oh, I'm sorry. This shows here about 1,900. I don't know if that's accurate or not. It's got a little off. There we go. It popped into place. This is like 1,300 feet. can zoom in and find lower areas here. There's the ancient riverbeds here. They went around. They went down straight here. I believe there was a junction here of canals. If not, river. You don't need canals if you have a river. There was a river here. You can see a small ancient canal hooking down and coming around, getting covered by sand. See it? It's right there. You can even see the big difference it plays. It shows right there. It's like the lowest point. So the water definitely went through there. It's still 1,200 feet, but that ancient river was right up here. So maybe it's just they created that canal. It went down this way. It went along. The sand entered into the mountains. These are the mountains on the left. We weren't there 13,000 years ago. We have no idea what happened. 13,000 years ago, a lot of stuff got covered. But I kind of missed my main point, which was that it wouldn't have been a problem to just have a river this way anyways. Well, that's it. I just wanted to show you that Timbuktu information. Timbuktu right up here. And when I say Timbuktu, it's not the city of Timbuktu. It's the department. Timbuktu. That actually says Tau Denis. So maybe I was wrong about Timbuktu, but it showed it in that other map. Timbuktu is right here. It's the city of Timbuktu right there. It's along the Senegal River. Well, the ancient Senegal River complex. Maybe there's a lake here and a river. Senegal goes right through here to Timbuktu. It's about 1,000 miles. There's a kilometers from here to here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 900 kilometers to get to the little tiny fish. And what's that? Why are we looking at that? That was something else I was looking at. What is it? That was some ancient, well, I think it's just mining activity I was looking at. You can see a whole bunch of mining activity going on. This is Morocco. And you can see in the middle of nowhere, they're mining, they're scraping up dirt. Okay, now this actually, in my opinion, what this is some type of an ancient dam being dug up, because it's looking just like the way they treat those ancient dams. If it's not an ancient dam, then what they're doing is they're trying to create an area for some present day dam they want to make. But that's what Graham Hancock was saying, is that we should be checking onto our continental shelves. The ancient coast of Africa, I think that the ancient coast is pretty much the same as it has been the whole time. When you look at this line here in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, let's get this out of here. Let me go here instead. Say goodbye to the weird mining activity that was going on in Morocco. Maybe I can look here at this map. This map's pretty fast too. When you look here, you can see the continental shelf here. It's all full higher elevation. It's kind of still not settled because it's only a couple hundred years old. The dirt that came from this flood and into here could have created these islands. This island creation and the other islands up here, I believe, were like crumbs falling off a slice of pizza. This hard, right here, Senegal has Cape Verde. It's also called Dakar. It's a very hard point. And over here, this is also a very hard point. And you can see this is called Cape Blanco. This is called Cape Myrick in ancient times. And if you go out here, you can see the mid-Atlantic ridge has the same exact attributes. This curve is right there. This little point is right there. So you took a piece of pizza from the hole and it broke it off, and it's called continental drift, right? And it moved, and these hard points scraped the bottom as they were dragged away. Some little crumbs fell off, but those pieces, those capes, are so hard that they lasted that whole time. They scraped from here all the way over to here, and this one from here all the way over to here. Now, some islands did pop up, Maybe they were crumbs that fell off the pizza, or maybe they were actual pieces of things that came off during flood times, but I doubt that. Up here, we have the same situation. Crumbs falling off the piece of pizza as it drags across the continental topography. Yeah, do I wonder about there having been islands here that went under the sea? Maybe, but where are the concentric circles? These concentric circles match Plato's coordinates, and if you watch the Chris Tolworthy video, you'll see how they actually could have been perceived. You had a major river here separating the Libyan part of the continent from the what was called the Atlantic part of the continent. This was Atlantis down here. Now, were there really Atlanteans living there? That's a different story. I don't know. There's a lot of time passed, and there were different groups of people. Just because they know about this ancient area getting flooded with mud doesn't mean it was really a thriving community like they assumed. Maybe they were looking at that from the mountains. Watch that Chris Tolworthy video. And as far as the continental shelf goes, when you get closer, you can see all sorts of interesting striations underneath the water. Oh, look, they kind of disappeared, didn't they? Where is it? Oh, there it is. This one here. It's like a 45-degree angle, and it goes straight up to this ancient underwater grid. So I'm not going to tell you that this concentric circles in the Richat structure were Atlantis. What I'm going to tell you is that Atlantis was a part of a major civilization that probably built the pyramids 20,000 years ago. They were thriving. 13,000 years ago, they had a problem. Now look at this. It goes straight over to Spain, but you've got this interesting square grid here, rectangle. Why is that there? Now, there are reports of underwater pyramids over here, so you can also say that this may have been part of the Atlantis complex. But where are the concentric circles? The ones that Plato described are right there in the Richat. Well, guys, it's been a nice time, but I definitely think I should get off here since it's way past my bedtime. I wanted to show you the Timbuktu findings. There's a lot more in the middle of the desert. If you want to see more, take a look at this. Go to my bookmarks. I have a bookmarked area for the Steemit site for Anthony Tunstall, Star Maps of Ancient Times, Eyes of the Sahara, Ghost Ships of Ethiopia, and he has links to his Google My Maps, the Eyes of the Sahara in Mauritania, Morocco, Mali, Algeria, Niger, and Tibesti Mountains. There's a lot of stuff up there. There's a lot of ancient lines in the Sahara Desert. It's not just a bunch of sand. Thank you so much. And if you have anything you find yourself, put it onto the Ancient Insight Facebook page at Ancient Insight. Facebook at Ancient Insight. If you want to help me, you can always do a Patreon or do the super chat, which is probably too late now. And then I'll send you, if it's a substantial amount, I'll send you both of my books. And if it's a super substantial amount, I'll send you the hardcover. They're all signed. Have a great day. I'm out of here. Now I have to make a thumbnail for this. Bye-bye.